Alright, so the last part of this will be rationalizing, which is the most important concept of all. Okay, what is rationalizing? Rationalizing means your denominator. You must get rid of the square root in your denominator, or you want to get rid of the surd on your denominator. Okay, for example, this square root b divided by square root a. How do I get rid of the square root a from the denominator? First thing first, I just multiply by square root a, and of course don't forget the top also must multiply. Because you're not doing anything to the equation, you're just multiplying by 1, right? So after that, so we use the operation of surd, right? For example, the top you should get square root a b. Then the bottom, square root a times square root a is positive a. So in this case, you have rationalized your denominator already. Okay, now we look at part B. Okay, part B is not so straightforward. It's just 1 over square root A plus square root B, right? Okay, so how do I rationalize this? Very simple. First thing first, if you look at this plus, right, you think of minus, the opposite. Okay, so you copy the square root A and square root B, right? So in between the square root A and square root B, you use minus. So this is what we call the conjugate. So I believe you have heard of this thing called conjugate. Okay, so when you do this, you expand. So the bottom you expand and the top you expand. The top is the easier one. So the top is just square root a minus square root b. Okay, what about the bottom? The bottom you must do a bit of your expansion. So square root a plus square root b bracket square root a minus square root b bracket. Okay, so I draw the rainbow. So I just use this 1 rainbow, 2 rainbow, 3 rainbow, and 4 rainbow. So in this case, you get rid of the square root already. So I just write the bottom. So it's just square root a times square root a is a. Then after that, minus square root ab plus square root ab. Then after that, minus b. So you notice that my square root is gone. Right? So that's why I always use the conjugate, because the conjugate helps me to get rid of the square root. Okay, so that is how we rationalize it. Of course, normally they want us to apply the rationalizing in terms of a word problem. So let us take a look at this word problem. So the side of a rectangle ABCD is as such, and 5 minus 4 over square root 2 cm in length. So expressed in the form of a plus b square root 2, the area in cm square. Okay, so of course this is simple, right? So you just need to expand. So when you expand, you will get something like this. Okay, of course you just do a bit of manipulation to give them a more beautiful answer, right? Right. Okay, then after that, the part 2, the area of the square in cm square, given the AC is one of the sides. So AC is one of the sides here. Okay, so they want us to find what is the area of the square. We know that square, the length is the same. So as long as I know what is the length, I can find what is the area of the square. Okay, they say that this is the length, right? Okay, so first thing first, if you look at this, this is something like your Pythagoras Theorem. So we need to use the idea of Pythagoras Theorem to help us solve this question. So 5 minus 4 over square root 2. Okay, so a square plus b square equal to c square. Then after that, you find what is your c square, right? You square root the c square to get your length of the hypotenuse, or the longer side of the triangle. So after you get the longer side of the triangle, you just square. You should get the 50 minus 8 square root 2. So this is a just a very quick example of a word problem involving rationalization.